A few weeks ago, I was invited onto Half Men Half Tech's YouTube livestream about the Apple event 2023. My friend Eric at TechRealism was also tuning in, and we wanted to reach out to Aaron from Zollotech to see if he wanted to join and talk about tech. So he managed to show up. Aaron has been doing YouTube for a good amount of time now and has surpassed 500 million views and 3,600 filmed videos. At the time of recording, his YouTube channel is currently sitting at 1.34 million subscribers. So we talked about how he manages his YouTube channel, his favorite pieces of tech, and other great stuff. So without any further ado, let's roll the intro and get right into the beautiful interview.
Thanks for having me. Hopefully you can hear me okay. I wasn't able to test the mics on the AirPods.
Oh, that's good. Yeah, we can hear you pretty well. I have a few friends that joined me on the stream. So we have Alex and then we have Eric. These are my fellow Canadian friends. Yeah, shout out to Canada. So Aaron, if I'm not mistaken, you're in the US, right?
Yeah, I'm close to Charlotte. I'm not in Charlotte, but I'm close to it.
Charlotte, is that
North Carolina? It's very close to the south of North Carolina.
okay? Is that the western side or eastern side?
Eastern.
Oh, so you are all the way on the other side. So we are like, yeah, we are like far west of Canada. Like if you look on the map where we are, like there's Japan. Like if you continue to go west, we have Japan. But yeah, it's good to have you on the stream, Aaron. Would you like to introduce yourself maybe and let us know of things that are not yet on the internet?
Oh, well, I don't have any of that.
Yeah.
But yeah, I've been doing YouTube since 2008. I've been doing it full time for 5 years and started as a hobby. So it wasn't really anything that I've been in IT and networking for 20 years. And then it sort of turned into a thing I could make money off of and became my full-time job. So it was never even planned that. I thought maybe I'd get a free case here and there back in 2008. So, it kind of turned into what it is now.
Wow. Yeah. You know who else does IT support? Like currently it's, YouTube is like a part-time hobby or something we do when we have spare time. It's Eric.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I do IT too.
I'm sorry. No. No, I did.
Yeah, it could be
and all sorts of things.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I know it could be kind of, stressful, especially the clients and stuff, but yeah, that's what I'm doing too. And I was actually trying to get into networking too. So, yeah.
Yeah, that's something I don't think I've ever shared publicly anyway. I used to work for Time Warner Cable. They're not Time Warner anymore. And I was in network operations for years. So any major issues and things like that. So
Oh, wow.
that, and I've worked in healthcare and everything. I've done a ton of different jobs, but I've done healthcare in networking for them and everything else. So lots of other things, but about 20 years or so of that.
Okay.
Yeah. Oh, that's nice. Like most of us here, like on the stream, we have like an IT background. Like myself, I did telecommunications. I have like a diploma in it. So when I came to Canada, I really couldn't use like what I studied much, but I didn't want to let my love for tech and, like technology in general just fade away. And then I'm like, why not just talk about tech to different people?
Sure.
Yeah. So, I had a question for you, Aaron. You're like one of the main sources for iOS, like software updates in general. Yeah. How do you manage to keep it all together? Like on your channel on YouTube, it says 3 videos. It says 3 videos weekly, but every day there's a video.
Yeah. I don't know. It's just kind of a hobby also, or it was. I mean, it's just something, okay, well, there's more news today, or there's something new, or I really should slow that down a little bit because it gets to be a bit too much. But I think once 2020 hit, most people were cutting down on content, and I went the other direction. So I sort of said, I'm going to go the other direction, see how it works, and it worked. So,
Yeah.
um,
Yeah, that's
but yeah,
nice.
I don't.
Yeah, so that's a good take. When people are going one side, don't follow the crowd. Just do your own unique thing. Did you always envision to be like? I don't know if my knowledge is wrong, but as of now, you are like the biggest channel that covers software releases. Have you always had that in mind to be the biggest iOS channel or the biggest Apple's beta update channel?
No, I started. Well, I told you, so I started back in 2008, and then I've always kind of been into the software side of things, so I started to make videos on it, and then at the time, everything Apple Pro was the biggest, and then there
Yeah,
was Miguel from iDevice Help, and then
yeah.
then I said, well, what can I do different? Maybe organize the information differently or whatever. What can I do a little bit different? And I just started doing it, and it took off. So that's kind of just how that grew. I didn't really do anything special per se.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, I like your channel. Yeah, you are so productive. I think this banner needs an update, by the way. You say it says 3 videos every week.
It does. I haven't touched that, and yeah, I haven't touched that in years.
Yeah.
So I changed my logo, and that's about it. Because it used to be a Z, then that became the symbol for the Ukraine-Russian war thing.
Yeah.
And so people asked me to change it, so I changed it, and that was, and that's the last time I touched it. I haven't touched it since.
Yeah.
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 I'm
Yeah.
really interested by your setup, Aaron. Are you using center stage on your iPad? Because I see it like shifting up and down.
No, I'm using the Opal C1 camera, which
Okay.
has a similar feature. I don't know how good it looks or how bad. I'm not sure.
Oh, it looks
But
good.
It looks fantastic.
oh, okay. Yeah,
Yeah.
it should be in. It can go up to 4K, but it's in 1080p right now. And then
Okay.
I and that's it. I mean, I just set it, and then it has a few. I'm looking at the effects things now, so you can turn them on and off in real time. And to be fair, I did do a sponsored video for them, but I'm genuinely using it. So I already did
Nice.
the video and everything. So, but yeah, So this is just the face lock thing. If I turn that off, it kind of zooms out.
Oh,
Okay.
nice. Whoa.
And then I can
Yeah.
zoom in further if I want. So,
Oh, wow.
so it's the same sort of thing. And same with Zoom and more. I can, adjust it or whatever.
So it
Yeah.
has like face tracking too, like features like
Right.
that.
Yeah.
Oh,
So
center stage.
I mean, to a point. Yeah. Oh, here, let me turn that back on. Yeah. So if I move over here, it'll kind of.
Oh, yeah,
I don't know if
follow
it'll
you.
center me, but it'll at least. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, and
Yeah.
this is just where I edit. It's not a special area or anything.
Yeah.
I just have a
Yeah.
studio display in front of me and then a cabinet full of stuff behind me. So,
Yeah.
but same with this. This is just the bokeh thing. It's very similar to Center Stage, things like that.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Nice. What do you
So,
use to edit your videos?
Yep. What's that?
Oh, sorry. What do you edit for your videos?
Oh, I use Final Cut Pro.
Final
I've been
Cut.
using it since Final Cut Pro 6.
Oh wow.
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 So,
Wow.
yeah. So,
Yeah.
so
You know,
I switched when they switched to Final Cut Pro 10. When I couldn't afford Final Cut Pro 7, I bought it used, Final Cut Pro 6, and learned it back then, and then been using it ever since, really.
yeah. Oh,
Okay,
that's
nice.
nice. One question that I had for you, Aaron, like how it seems like every year there's more and more like competition in the tech space, and like looking at you like on top, like the biggest channel so far that covers like these updates. Like, how do you deal with burnout? Because I know like from your X account, you sometimes tweet, "Oh, no video this week. I'm taking like time off," and yesterday you were jet skiing.
Yeah.
So yeah, how do you manage to like balance it out and deal with burnout, especially like in a competitive space like this?
I don't. I'm not good at it. I will burn myself out over and over usually.
Yeah,
Especially usually September, although I do plan to pull it back a little bit just because it's not. I'd rather slow down and do better videos than just throw out a ton, honestly. So the funny thing is the more effort I put into a video, the worse it does. So
Yeah.
if I put a lot of B-roll and things like that, it does worse. So it was like, well, I might as well not do that. So for the most part, it just depends. It's just not mine's been real simple, and that's kind of part of it. Is I have it down to kind of, I know it's going to take me about 3 hours to make a video, unless it's a comparison, which then that takes a lot longer. But it's going to take me about 3 hours for like an iOS update, except for when, iOS 17. So last year, iOS 16 took me about 12 to 18 hours. I think when it first released to the public, that video, because it's an hour long. So it just depends on the video. But most of the time, it's kind of down to, I've developed the fastest way I can do it with the best information, the format developed and everything, and then just went from there. And I really just kind of wake up, because it's my job, thankfully, I can wake up and say, okay, I'm doing a video, what's it going to be about? And I try to plan at least a few days ahead if I can. But, it's pretty easy today. There's going to be iOS 17 RC. And then, maybe an event update video, but I kind of did that yesterday. So I don't know, so, but I don't handle burnout well. It's what I do. So it's not really the part I don't do well is vacations. I don't take vacations.
Yeah.
I should, but I don't.
Yeah, that's true. In the chat we have someone that's asking something that we should ask you. What are you most excited about the iPhone 15 this year? So we should.
Well, I'm not sure yet. So here's the dummy units I have. Like, those are in the videos. I don't know if you've seen those.
Yeah, I saw those. Yeah.
Yeah. So these, you just hanging on to these, they definitely feel a lot nicer. It's one thing that's hard to show in the video is they're curved around the edge, so they're not quite as sharp. And then I think the other thing, if the cameras, they fix the issue with being too close, they keep incrementally making the camera better. Anytime I record outside, I use an iPhone, so it's just easier. And I think I'm always interested to see what they do with the camera. Everything else is kind of so incremental today that I don't know that it's much of a big update. Titanium will be nice, I think, but other than that, I don't know. I'm hoping there's something we're missing that no one leaked or something along those lines, but we'll see.
Yeah, leaks, that's the bad thing about leaks. Like, sometimes they can be so off, and then they overhype like the product, and then when the product comes out, you're not as excited. So sometimes I'm like, I wish I wouldn't have seen the leaks. But then sometimes, they are like spot on, like, oh, it's gonna have a parascopic zoom. Oh, and it does. It's gonna have USB-C, and it does. So I don't know if I should be watching leaks, but I have an interesting question for you, Aaron, because it brings us to like a question that I meant to ask, because as like one of the biggest Apple channels, around, how come like others get invited to Apple event in the US and you're already in the US yourself, but you don't get invited? Why is that so?
Well, you'd have to ask Apple exactly. I have an idea. So I have been invited before, but unfortunately it's when no one was doing in-person events. So 2020, 2021, I was invited. They sent me the phones to review early, which was great. More recently, I think this is why. No one's told me this, so this is just speculation. They don't really like you covering iOS beta updates until the public beta is out anymore. So I don't know if you've noticed, but if you look at Marques Brownlee, iJustine, Mr. Who's the Boss, they don't push out anything about iOS 17 until the public beta is out this year and last year. And they really started to ask people about that. Well, they started talking about that, and I'd already published like 4 or 5 videos. So it was a little late for that. And so I think that's why, but I don't really know. But, occasionally they'll send me something, in email form or something like that. So it's not like they've cut me off per se, but I just don't know why. Maybe they just know I'm going to buy the iPhones anyway, so it doesn't matter. I don't know. Yeah. Because I have to go buy all of them.
Yeah. I'm curious to know how many iPhones do you have? Because You buy, I think when I see your videos, you buy like an iPhone for beta testing, an iPhone for regular use, and then there's like older updates like iOS 16. Like I'm sure your cabinet is like stacked all the way to the top.
So the answer is all of them, but except for the 3G and 3GS, because back then I had to trade them in just so I could get the next one because I couldn't afford it. So since I think iPhone 5, I've kept them all. But
Wow.
I think with last year with the 14s, I bought all of them, but then I bought two 14 Pro Maxes. But honestly, my phone that's in the video is the one I have my SIM card in. So it's the one I actually use regularly, so that I'm actually giving, real information about how I'm using it, that it's fair. And then all the other phones, like my daughter's using a 14 Plus, and
Yeah.
that's sort of when I did a year later video about it, well, almost a year later, like a couple of weeks ago, it's legitimately been used a year. That way I can kind of, I can't test them all myself, but then it gives me real world use on all the phone. So I have a very large family, and they sort of go out that way, and then I, say, hey, you want to use this one? Give me that one back, and then I'll.
Oh, that's nice. Yeah. Yeah. We have a comment that says you're spot on with all the new things on iOS updates. It's impressive.
Oh, well, thanks. I've built over the years enough connections that people send me what's new in it too, because I can't possibly find everything that fast. So, it takes time to find everything, and you can do it systematically, of course. But between the Telegram group I have, Discord, and then other Discord groups, Reddit, and people on Twitter, you kind of gather everything together and do the best you can, and then go back and check. That's where those follow-ups came from. So, I started doing those years ago, and then some other people followed that just because it seemed to be people liked it. So I did the follow-ups and, find more features, and people will post them online. And like I said, there's so many little changes that you can't possibly just find them all immediately. I wish Apple would publish it, but they don't. So
Yeah. Yeah, that's true. Let's see if we have another comment. iDevice Help is actually, I don't know if that's,
Is that actually him?
Miguel?
I don't know if it's Miguel, but yeah, sometimes
I don't know. I
he
don't think
put the
that's
heart emojis there, yeah.
I don't know. It says iDevice helps with an S.
Yeah.
So it might not be him.
Yeah.
So Alex, if you have
Like,
any, oh sorry, go ahead, Aaron.
Oh, I was going to say, I was going to ask him if he's in here. I'll just message him. I'll text him.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So like, us here, like we are all small channels, like relatively upcoming, like, is there any words of wisdom or advice you want to give us if we are to to make this into a career or something? Because it's something we are passionate about right now. We are still small. We, you go to work, go to study after work, and then after that, when you get some spare time, you do YouTube and stuff. We do it because we like it. So is there any words of wisdom you'd like to share with us or encouragement?
Well, one advantage you have is you're younger. So you're younger, so that definitely gives you an advantage. Just because I'm one of the older guys now, I've been on here 15 years or so. So I'm gonna eventually, by the time I'm in my 40s, but if I'm in my 60s, I don't know if I'll still be doing it. So but consistency, typically, that's where the 3 videos a week thing came from. That was actually advice from YouTube years ago. Directly, once you hit about 100,000 subscribers or so, they give you a YouTube partner manager, give or take. I don't know what the actual, there's no specific number, but they give you advice over the years, and that was one of them years ago. And so consistency, not necessarily 3 videos a week, but consistently. Or consistency, rather. So that, and then I'm into cameras because I learned them. So, I just try to make things best I can and try to get better. And, of course, some of that costs money, and we're at the point where I don't know that upgrading cameras makes much of a difference anymore like it used to. But it definitely is, just it's one of those things where I try and always see how I can make it better, make it cleaner, if there's anything I can do different. and I try ideas. Sometimes they work, sometimes they don't, and then you can see that by how your audience reacts. So it's more that, and it's something John Rettinger said many years ago when I was small, is he said, consistency, and that seems to be key. It took me 10 years to get to like 100,000 subscribers or so. So
Wow.
Wow.
and then it ballooned after that. So it just depends. Some people do it faster, some slower.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah. Wow.
That's
Thanks
true.
for
No,
the.
that's not Miguel, by the way.
Okay.
Uh,
Okay. Oh, thanks for the words of wisdom.
yeah.
Sure.
What's your favorite social media app?
People are going to hate me for this. I like Twitter.
Likes Twitter.
Well, here's the thing. It's for me, at least from my perspective, if you push away whatever you think of Elon, I think he's done some cool things. I think there's other goofy things, whatever. I just think for me, it's the easiest way to connect with people, see real-time news, and the experience, at least from my perspective, hasn't changed.
Yeah.
For some people, it definitely has, but for me, it's been the same. So as long as it's that way, I don't care. But between, other than YouTube, obviously, it's the
Yeah.
fastest way. It's where I get news the fastest. It's where
Yeah.
and also I reach the most people. So,
Yeah.
100,000 plus or whatever it is now. So,
Yeah. Before I started making YouTube videos, I must say that I never really appreciated like Twitter or X. Like there's so much information, and like the trending section also tells you, like, gives you a bit of news and background as to what's going on in the world. So yeah, after I started making videos and doing research and looking into forums, yeah, I must say I really underrated Twitter.
yeah, I did too for years. I've been on it since it was brand new and never really grew because I didn't use it. But then I learned I customize it some. You can block words of things you don't want to see, and then you can have things alert you that you do want to see. So, as soon as if I miss an iOS update that's coming out, well, that newer guy, Aaron P613.
Oh yeah, he's good. Yeah, he's good at giving updates.
Sorry, I'm responding to Miguel quickly, but yeah, he gives some updates before I find them, and that's where I'll throw in like thanks for finding it, that sort of thing.
Yeah, I've always been curious, like before the developer page or the beta page is updated, or before like the phone gives you a pop-up that there's a software update, even before like Mac rumors, 9 to 5 Mac and so on, fine, like that. Aaron 613p and yourself, sometimes you tweet before like the updates are available. How do you guys do that? That's pretty cool.
Well, I mean, some of it is Apple updates things before it's actually showing on your phone. And if you know where to look, and it's an always moving target. It's an always moving target. So I used to have things I could tell 20 minutes ahead of time. Now they changed that, so it's harder to do that. But basically, it's just, it really is just websites that they update and you look for changes, that sort of thing. So, but there's enough people, sometimes when I get it early, someone on my Telegram channel, for example, has posted that it's out, and I'll check my phone, and sure enough, there it is, but it's only on one phone and not the other. So it's from so many sources and different windows I have up. And this is probably going back to my network operations center stuff, where I used to have to monitor stuff all the time. Yeah, I'm just used to it. So I throw a bunch of windows up there, see if something comes in, and then I'll tweet it out that it's out or something.
Oh, that's neat.
Anyone in IT knows that.
Yeah, Eric.
Yes.
Eric, you need to develop a system that tracks packets from Apple, and before they send it to the public, then we have it.
So then, exactly.
Are you disappointed that there isn't going to be an Ultra phone this year?
No. I don't know if anyone follows me on Twitter that's in the chat too, but typically I think Apple needs to reduce the amount of phones they have, not increase. So I'm okay with it. So I would like to just see, here's iPhone 15. Pick, you want the regular size or the bigger size? I'd personally like to see them go back to that sort of thing. I don't think they ever will, but I would love to see that. So no, if it's, as long as it's the same specs or whatever, I don't care what they call it. I think their naming's got a little crazy, but
Yeah, I
Yeah.
agree.
Cameron says Aaron makes boss content. He's very detailed. Yeah. So one
I know
thing,
Cameron
yeah.
too. I know who he is.
Yeah, one thing I gotta say, yeah, like sometimes when an update comes out, there's channels that, you know how people react to something instantly. Like Twitter today is gonna be crazy when the Apple event starts. People are gonna see, oh, iPhone 15 dynamic, no, with this smaller bezels and stuff. There's people that give you the instant thoughts, but then looking at your videos, sometimes others post and then 30 minutes, no Aaron, well, is everything okay? And then when your video comes out it's like, it's like a 12-14 minute video, but the details are not covered in other videos. And yeah, that's something that the guys appreciate very much. They say it's very very detailed.
I appreciate that. Yeah, I try and find things that other people, well, I try and find things that I would want to know if I'm buying it. So, some of it doesn't really matter, that it's a millimeter thicker. So I don't typically cover that stuff. I cover, what's different about it. So if I look at the spec sheet, and I'll just put it down in notes. So, there's things like that I think people avoid because they're just trying to make a video that suits their audience too, where my audience is more detailed, I think, in a lot of things. So I try and include as much as I can.
Yeah.
Where I don't know if everybody, not everybody does that. And it's also can be pretty tedious sometimes, like with the comparison videos, because there's a lot to cover. There's everything from weight to thickness to whatever. It's a lot of work for sure, but it's, if it's helpful, that's kind of the question I ask for my videos is it going to be helpful to people to know this information? And if so, then I'll make it. And so some of the videos I make seem kind of silly. Some would say redundant, but it's more, is this going to be helpful to someone down the line? If it is, then I'll do it.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a good way to approach things.
Yeah.
Yeah, so Alex, if you have any questions for Aaron, just ask away. Same with you, Eric, if you have anything you want to ask Aaron, because he's a really busy man. Like, his Twitter is like crazy. Twitter, you're big on Twitter and then Instagram too. Like, I see like your reels whenever updates come out. Do you have a team or you're a one-man band?
Just me.
Oh wow!
Wow.
Yeah.
Yep. It's I tend to I can do things pretty fast, I guess. I've kind of developed the way to just get it done. The hardest thing, honestly, is all the tweets that I do when an update comes out, because I'm paying attention when not an update, an event. I'm paying attention, but also taking those notes so that I can tweet them. So it's a lot. It's a lot to pay attention to. So, but other than that, I've considered getting some help. The problem is my videos are always in real time, so it's tough to do that. I definitely could do that for certain types of reviews and things, but it's hard to do when you're doing it real time. And I used to do iOS updates 5 years ago. I'd go on my lunch break, go outside with a little tripod and record it, and that was that. I'd edit it and upload it at my job. So, I had to develop ways to be as fast as I could and efficient, so that I did that too.
Yeah. We have someone in the comments, Colin, he wants to ask about the battery health. I know, like, all of us here have been experiencing some, we use the iPhone 14 Pro, most of us. So we've noticed that, it's gone down drastically compared to like prior devices. So Colin says ask about the battery health.
Okay, so I just checked. Mine's at 89%, and I think it was about 280 cycles or something last time I checked. Now, I think the problem isn't necessarily the battery. The problem is the updates are using more power, which makes you have to charge it more, which deteriorates the battery. So if I look at my 13 Pro Max, which I did this in a separate video too, the 13 Pro Max I think had 50 less charge cycles or 100 less charge cycles in the same period, which means the only difference in using that, because they're mostly the same apps, is really that it was the updates. So, you know, my battery life on iOS 17 beta 8 is about 4 hours. It's pretty terrible.
Oh,
So,
wow.
yeah, 4 hours with Twitter or X taking the most of, 25% of the battery. So I'm at about 3 hours and 12 minutes with 75%. So yeah, I think they need to optimize it. Hopefully they do with the RC, because if they don't, a lot of people aren't going to be happy. But usually it's a beta, so it's going to happen somewhat, especially the early ones.
Yeah. Yeah, so let's see if we have any questions. Aaron, how come you are not at the Apple event? I believe you answered that already. So Aleu Cize is asking. Yeah, so
Yeah,
like me.
I would love to be, but it's not up to me.
Yeah. So
they didn't invite. So I don't know if anybody follows this, but like they didn't invite 9 to 5 Mac or Mac Rumors till the last minute.
Oh wow!
Like till Friday or Thursday. So who knows what they're a moving target. So you just never know what they're going to do. They might invite me to the next event. You just don't know. Sometimes they do, but I'm glad they didn't invite me to WWDC. They did invite me to watch it online, which is what they do if they don't want you to come there, but they want you to, feel invited or whatever.
Yeah.
So they did invite me to that, but honestly, I wouldn't want to go at WWDC. There's too many videos to make. So
yeah, exactly.
So, but I would love to go to the iPhone one, or maybe an iPad one, something smaller where it's not as hectic, I guess.
Yeah.
So maybe one day, we'll see. I don't know. But again, I don't know if it's because of the beta thing or something else. I really don't know.
Yeah, probably. Yeah, I don't know. Some other bigger channels that used to do jailbreaking, they like get put on a blacklist or something like that, and then maybe with time. Yeah, that's why
they really do not like these. They really do not like.
Oh yeah, the dummy models.
But I mean, I know a ton of people who have them. 9 to 5 Mac Rumors. Tons of other people have them too, and they're invited. So I don't think that's a thing. But whatever. I guess maybe I'm just too old and not cool enough nowadays. I don't know.
No. If you're not cool enough, your channel wouldn't be growing like crazy, right? Like I was looking at Social Blade. You see, because we get inspiration when we see numbers like this.
Oh
yeah.
Would you say this is pretty much accurate?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. All right. The 5. What do you mean? Well, which number? What one are you talking about?
The earnings.
Yeah. It's about right. It's closer to the higher end. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh wow. Okay. Yeah. I see.
Time to grind.
When we see things like this, we
feel inspired.
We feel motivated.
Okay, so here's the thing. If there was a video, I've never talked to him, honestly, Marquez. There was a video once he posted that showed his earnings by mistake.
Yes, I saw that.
Tasking.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so I've never quite hit that anywhere near that, but that was unbelievable. So.
Yeah, it's amazing how you can. Yeah, it's amazing how you can turn like passion, that's something that you have passion for, into like income, and be able to live off of it.
Yeah.
That's what happened with my job. My job was making less money than YouTube, so I was like, well, maybe I'll try YouTube full time.
Yeah.
Flipped, so.
We have a comment in the chat. It says, Aaron, what is your most proud of video? Like, yeah.
What video you're most proud of?
Yeah.
So I need to do more of these. This is kind of what I was referencing in a tweet I said recently. This is an old video, and the iPhone 8 Plus review I kind of like. It did well, but I kind of just like, it's the only video I've ever color graded, like actually color graded.
Oh wow! Wow.
And so it's a little stuttery and things, but I mean I kind of like, it's got a lot of B-roll. It's just different than the other videos. So there's the 6 or 6S. At that time I made a couple like that back in the day. So I think that's when I was working full time too, but I liked that video. So I think that's probably one of my favorite. The rest are all similar, so it's hard to really gauge, but I plan to maybe do something more like that one in the future. I'm not sure.
Okay.
I like to be more on the artsy side. I'm somewhere in between. My audience doesn't necessarily appreciate that. So
Yeah. Yeah, I've also noticed that too. Sometimes you work really hard on a video, you push it out, 100 views. Oh. Then the one that you just, yeah, it's terrible. Like you feel, I don't know. But then at the same time, there's like videos that you just think like you sort of freestyling because it just comes to you when you've been testing software for so long. You do, oh, this can do this now, and then you post it, it just blows up. Like, yeah, I feel where you're coming from for sure.
yeah, yeah, it's one of those things where sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. And I've tried everything you can imagine. It's over the years, just as many people do. So
Yeah.
yeah, sometimes the more the comparison videos are the only ones I put a lot of time into, and they actually do well usually. So
Okay.
those take about 12 hours to make, 8 to 12
Yeah.
hours. So
Wow. That's a full
between
shift.
filming and editing and yeah, well, a lot of it's the
Yeah.
editing because there's a lot of
Oh, yeah.
photo comparisons and things like that. So
Hmm.
let's see. See someone on. Oh yeah, there. The Apple event slide. I'll stay with you guys for another 5 minutes or so. If that's cool.
Yeah, that's yeah, I had mentioned we won't take too much of your time. Like I said, you are like one of the main sources for information, trusted sources.
Thank you.
Well, not the
I've
trusted.
tried hard to do that.
If Twitter had like a badge to put on someone's name, would put trusted sources, like a trusted source
thanks.
for information besides your name. But yeah, thank you so much for joining our stream. And yeah,
Yeah,
we know you'll be your Twitter is gonna be, you're gonna have hot fingers pretty soon.
One last question
Have you had-
I wanted to ask.
Yeah,
Colin said in the chat, and it's actually a question that I had myself. He says, Aaron, what Mac do you use for editing your videos?
okay, so this is, it's Mac Studio is what I'm using, an M1 Ultra Mac Studio. Now M2, M1. It's fully spec'd out or whatever. So I have two studios. So the way I have redundant, it's the data center thing. I don't, anyone that worked in those network operations data, I have kind of redundancy for everything. So this is my studio in an office I rent, and then I also have a exact same setup in my house. Basically, my house, I have a 14-inch MacBook M1 Max MacBook Pro, and here I have an M1 Studio, M1 Ultra Studio. I'll buy probably the M3 Ultra when when that comes out.
Okay.
But I also I've thankfully had the ability to try all the top computers, and I have a 2019 Mac Pro, and that's nowhere near what this M1 Ultra can do. So it's not even close.
Yeah.
So if you
What's
have
your
an
favorite
M1,
Apple product? Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
favorite Apple product. Did you say favorite Apple product?
Yeah.
Probably the iPad Pro. It's what I use the most. The 12.9 inch.
Oh wow. Do you edit your videos on it?
Fine.
No, I've tried. I've edited one. I tried one.
Yeah, I remember
And
that
it was
video.
okay. It was okay. Yeah, it was okay. But I like the larger screen. So if they had a 27-inch iPad, I guess I would. But I like this screen, and then whatever else. But yeah, thankfully I can try all the different ones and see what's works. But the M1 Ultra is so fast that it's I don't know what you guys use, but if you're using like a 12-minute video takes 3 minutes to compress.
Yeah.
An H.264 or 5, it doesn't. It's so fast, it's goofy. So to spend another, I don't know, what is it, $8 or $9 grand now on a fully spec'd out Mac Studios seems a bit of a waste.
Yeah.
It's only had that out a year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think when a person does like YouTube, you need to have like a good accountant that knows what you can claim and what you cannot claim. Otherwise, it becomes like a crazy expense, right?
Yeah, well, that's something. And plus, it's different per country. I'm not a tax person, but it's different in every country. What you can write off, what you can't, things like that, and expense. So
Yeah. Yeah. Otherwise, Aaron, we won't take too much of your time. It's like 5 minutes to go. So
Okay.
I'd like to say thank you so much for joining the stream. We'll give you a round of applause.
Thanks for the insight too.
Sure.
Nice
Thanks
meeting you.
for having me, and you too. And reach out if you ever want to do this again. I'm all for it.
Yeah, thank you so much, Aaron, and enjoy the event. It's going live in about 5 minutes and 12 seconds. So we'll be following in case we don't understand something from the event. We'll watch your tweets or read to get more insights.
All right. Well, thank you. I appreciate it, and thanks again.
Yeah, and keep doing what you're doing. Soon you'll be at you're close to like 1.5 and then 2 million.
Yeah.
It's amazing how much people care about software.
Yeah. I never thought I'd hit 10,000, so it's crazy to me.
Yeah, thank you so much, Aaron.
Sure.
Enjoy your day. Enjoy the Apple event.
All right, see.
All right, you too.
Okay.
Man, that's crazy.
Yeah, Aaron was I can't believe Aaron came, bro.
Yeah. Just inspiration, you know?
Yeah,
I'm at
so you
300, you know what I'm saying? I'm nowhere near. I'm nowhere near.
Yeah. So that was neat, man. So most of the biggest content creators are like based in the US. Sometimes I just wish, if you network better, you also, learn a thing or two from other people. It's pretty cool, right?
How did you network with zollotech? That's what I want to know.
Well, zollotech is really like he's a how do I say? He's like down to earth, right? Like I was I cover like some iOS updates sometimes and then watchOS and macOS. So at one point I was having an issue with my Mac, right? On macOS it was on the beta version, and then I reached out to Aaron to see if he was experiencing the same issue, and then from there on we started talking on Twitter. And like
get on X.
And he has like look how many subscribers he has. Almost 1.4 million. Yeah, like he's like crazy big.
Anyways, we'll leave it at that for today. It was a very enjoyable and eye-opening experience for me. I'd like to thank Ben at Half Men Half Tech for having me on, as well as Eric at TechRealism for your added support. I'd like to give a big shout out to Aaron at zollotech, despite his busy schedule, for coming on as well. Anyways, I'll leave all three of their links down in the description below, and make sure to go check them out. Anyways, it has been Alex at Techrific. Make sure to subscribe. We are on the road to 1,000 subscribers. Thank you so much for the support. And as you can see, we're in this new little setup. Hope you guys like it. Let me know in the comment section below your thoughts. Like, share, subscribe, and comment down below if you haven't already. Make sure to go check out my Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, and Reddit, and Threads, all at Techrific it is. Anyways, I'll catch you guys in the next one.